Alright, so here's the long-awaited video for CIS 115. We're continuing on in chapter 4, talking about some for loops, some strings, and tuples. So to start off with, if you're following along in your book, we're on page 90, and we're talking about how to create a for loop and how to use that to count. So this first program right here is the counter program, and all it does is it uses for right here, and it's looking for what it does is it's how to create counting. Okay, hold on, let me back up a second. When you count, you have to designate what your range is. So for this one, for everywhere I means Roman numeral 1, for the range of 10, then you would count by ones through the range. So as you see here, for I being counting by ones, in the range of 10, and you want to print each one of those out. And that's just going to show you an output. I'm going to run this one so that you can see it. Bring it over here. So this first section here, it's going to count 10 times. Well, 0, 1, 2, 3. So the 0 is the first time it counted. The second one, it's counting by fives. For I in range from 0 to 50, count by fives. All right. Now, if you wanted this thing to count to 55 and end, you would change your range to 56, let's say, because then it would actually count up to that point. All right. Same thing with counting in backwards. For I in range 10, you said from 10 to 0 and count by -1, and this is what your output would look like. All right. So using your counter program, you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about here, to how to count not only forwards but backwards and by different multiples. All right. So that's the first part. The second part, we're going to do sequence operators. These operators can tell you basic but important things about a sequence, like how long it is, whether or not it's in a different string, things like that. And the thing we're going to use for this, let's see, for the len and in functions is, I want you to listen, just listen to this quick video real quick and get my volume set up like I want it to, and I'll let that run. And you guys just check this out. He explains the len function pretty well. So what he's talking about here is that where you're using the operator in, it's looking at this variable, the string, to find out if, or excuse me, if this variable, yeah, the string, if this string John is included in that string. It's a very powerful operator, and it actually ties into what we're going to talk about next. So make sure you read in your book about the positive and negative position numbers. But what I wanted to bring out was sequential access. And then now what we're dealing with strings, um, we're looking at it how it just looks at one character at a time as sequential access. So you're able to say, look at, in the word John, look for J, look for O, look for H, look for N. Um, there's also what they call random access that allows you to get any element in a sequence directly, and then indexing allows you to randomly access different elements of a sequence. All right, this is all in your book, pages 94 through 96. Working with positive and negative numbers, it's a good idea to read through that so that you understand it. We're going to do a little bit more about it in class on Thursday. And then we go into building a new string. So you've seen how we can add different parts of a string or concatenate strings together using the plus symbol. What we're going to talk about next is creating strings from multiple variables. So what your book shows you is that what you can do is if you assign a variable as a new message on page 103, and then you do another one from letter, then you can add those two together. So whatever the user inputs for both different strings could then be combined together using the plus equals sign. All right. Let's see. The one that they look at. We'll talk a little bit more and then look at slicing strings. Um, so they look at the pizza slicer. So let's look at that one real quick. See what that one has to say. I'll open that one up. Random access, no vowels, pizza slicer. Let's look at that guy. There he is. Demonstrates string slicing. And what your book says, you can make copies of a continuous section of elements like called slices, and you can then copy one element or part of the sequence, and then create a slice that's a copy of the entire sequence. So for this one, what they're saying is it's a slicing cheat sheet, and what it prints out is that from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, all of that, it's slicing up the string. And then it says enter the beginning and ending index for your slice of pizza, press the enter key to begin to exit. So let's run this guy and take a look at what he's doing. All right. Enter the beginning and ending index for your slice of pizza, press the enter key and begin to exit. So I'm going to say my first one is going to be 0, my last one is going to be 3, oops, 0, finish is 3, and then what it does is it takes my slice and it takes and figures out what the word is. So 0 through 3 is P-I-Z, P-I-Z. So what if I wanted to do 1 through 4? 1 through 4, and that's I-Z-Z. So you can kind of get an idea of what they're talking about with making slices. All right, and then the last part of this, what I want to show you is a short little video on mutability, immutability, and tuples. So we watch this real quick, and then we'll actually go into this a little bit more detail on Thursday, and hopefully you enjoyed your video, which I then cheated on by getting other videos. All right, that's it for the video for today. Like I said, go through this through the end of chapter 4 in your book, and we will be working in class on Thursday to create a program that incorporates the things that we've covered so far in chapter 4.